Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to the channel. It's Cynicalex. And Athena might be the most unique character in this update, despite the fact that she's probably the second lowest on the meta scaling from Zeus and Hades and so forth. And the reason for that is the way that they've designed her kit is actually quite interesting. I gotta give the devs some credit here, where they screwed up massively on Hercules. They cooked really hard with Athena. So the thing that everyone, I think by now knows, is that her fourth skill can be tapped for multiple attacks. So she has this initial attack, and then you can keep tapping, and you get all these additional hits. And it actually ends up being up to 42 hits, which is really cool. And if you go over to her practice combo, you actually get this hilarious thing where they want you to do 3, and then 5, and then 4. 4, 4, 4, 4, 4. And it looks really funny. And that can definitely work with something like a competition or a rage, because of course you're going to be resetting that combo so many times, it's not going to work with a proc. But then you look at her fifth skill and you're like, man, there's a nice delay and then there's a bunch of hits and you can cancel out of the 5. And then you look at her second skill and you're like, oh man, it's also a cancelable skill with like 15 hits. That's really cool. So you can actually play Athena two completely different ways. And I want to test in this video whether one is clearly better than the other, or whether they both actually have value. Because the way they want you to play her, obviously, is 3, 5, 4. And then you cancel out, cancel out, cancel out. You know, you keep tapping 4. However, for the hit meter, it's not very sexy because it keeps resetting. So, of course, you can only use it with a rage. However, you can also alternatively play her with a proc or a CTP of energy with chain hit by doing just 2, 5, 2, 5, 3. Forget the fourth skill entirely. And this actually works for a couple of reasons. One, she's not a tier 4. 2, she's not a tier 3, so you don't have to worry about charging up the tier 3 skill. And you actually get almost 90 hits. It's not like a bad combo. Yeah, she has more hits than frickin' Hercules. Yeah. So I actually want to try both ways. We're going to try the classic, which I think would work with a rage. And she does have... We're going to use this rage here, and she does have guaranteed crit rate on her wisdom strike passive, so I do think that rage is kind of what they wanted, their idea for the character, even though they didn't even set her as a DPS. They set her only exclusively as a support. But hey, maybe she can play double duty, because remember, she's going to give herself, all allies, 25% basic attack and then 45% increased damage to villains. Probably the first thing everyone's wondering is ABX. Now, it's not a very sexy build. We don't have her artifact. We don't have a, a bunch of Odin's blessings, but let's see what she can do in ABX here. I'm gonna go ahead, tap the 4, keep tapping the 4, keep tapping the 4. You do get a nice arm workout, which is nice, and you do need to just wait a little bit. Oh, you gotta wait a little bit more than I waited. Okay. All right, let me get it down. Okay, we're at 3 million right now. Not bad. I think if you just start with about 1.5 seconds left on the fourth skill, should be good. The problem is you don't want to wait too long on the 6. You want to be able to pop that 6 as much as possible. So you can probably splash in the 1 there. Okay. It's not crazy. It's certainly not going to keep up with tier 4, tier 4 Crescent, but I think it's not bad. I think it's not bad as a budget alternative if you don't want to get... let's see here. You don't want to get... Oh, we didn't cancel. Oh, there we go. Oh, nice. We got the cancel on the follow-up. That was really nice. All right. Yeah, if you don't want to get Nebula and her uniform, if you don't want to get Hope and her expensive Epic Quest Deluxe pack, if you don't want to get Crescent's seasonal uniform, if you look at it from a different perspective, it kind of seems nice because of all the BS of all of the other combat female characters, besides maybe Nebula, right? But then Nebula has the same problem where she's not tier 4, so then the score might actually be pretty close. I don't actually remember what Nebula's score was, but this is maybe a bit stressful to play, but not bad in terms of, it's pretty unique. Having that 4th skill. And hey, we're already above 9 million. This is, like, not bad. I think? I don't know. Now, we know the second skill is not going to cancel right away, so we do follow it up. Hello? What happened? Okay, well, this ruined my run because I'm not going to do the rest of it now because the score is going to be terrible. I think she probably would have gone around 12 million if I had to guess. Maybe 12, 13 million. It's going to be ruined now because I don't know how he dodged the second skill. I pressed it the second time the same way as I pressed it the first time. I don't know what the hell happened there. That was bizarre. But I still think this is pretty damn good. I still think this is decent. Let's try her out here on stage 29 of Jean, and you're going to see Wave, which is a huge shocker, but there's just not that many supports for her typing, for the agility tag. So, yeah, we actually end up using Wave. Okay, that was kind of depressing. The first skill just lasted way too long, and we got hit there. It's not what you want to see. Wow, and the rage did not proc either. Very cool. Okay, so this is not a very good performance starter here. All these hits, and the rage just does not want to proc. Wow, guaranteed crit rate means nothing these days. What is going on? Without the awakening skill, seems like she can't proc. This is very weird. There we go. She finally procs, but the damage is really, really low. Oh, no. Wow. Yeah, she's doing less than a bar without the awakening skill. This is quite bad. Wow. This is actually kind of depressing. This is really bad. You can see the awakening skill does a lot of damage. I almost thought she could do it just based on the awakening skill. But it's really bad without the awakening skill. Wow. She couldn't even do 29. Okay, so ABX was pretty good. World Boss was kind of scary and kind of bad. Now let's go ahead and swap her over from a Rage to what I think could be better. Not a Brilliant Energy. We're going to try with just a Mighty Energy with a beatdown proc. And I want to try this completely different rotation. It's a pretty bare bones build here, guys. We're not going for something crazy here. We do have the overdrive. We don't have an artifact. We just got a bunch of, 6-star Uru. We have a bunch of empty slots, but it's okay because she has everything capped. Keep in mind that she only has 20% crit rate buff on her 4th skill. So you will need to get her crit rate up to 55% if you want to cap out, if you're not going to be using a Rage. We're going to switch it over to stage 19 of Kang. Jean is just pissing me off too much. And yeah, listen, it's hard. It can be really hard to make bad characters work, or to make like subpar characters work. One thing that I wasn't able to test in the skill preview that I can try to test now is whether or not you can cancel out of the 4. You can't. Okay, so this is interesting, but however they designed the 4th skill, I don't know, but you can't actually cancel out of it once you press it. So I actually can't even press the 4th skill until the rest of the rotation is done to get that frenzy buff, because otherwise I'm going to... Yeah, this is just a disaster. We're just going to go down to stage 9. Screw it. Listen, not every character review, not everything is hot shit. Some characters just suck straight up. But it is interesting because it gives me a chance to test out things that I just had no idea were the way that they are. And basically, the 4th skill, you can't cancel out of it. There's like basically an uncancelable animation, the first part of it. So you actually can't have it in the rotation at the beginning because you'll get stuck in it and you won't be able to cancel into. You like literally can't cancel out of the 4th skill. She's doing better damage here on stage 9, but it is obviously stage 9, so that's pretty low. But you do still want to do the 4th skill to get the frenzy buff. And yeah, I mean, it's not bad. It kind of does work in a kind of bizarre way. I got hit by one of the blasts coming back. So yeah, I mean, listen, if you really wanted to make Athena work, I'd say the easiest thing to do is just slap on a Rage, right? Slap on a Rage and play the prescribed rotation that they tell you to do. But if you want a different rotation, if you want something a little bit spicy, yeah, this is pretty cool. This is pretty neat that they give you the opportunity. I think it's the way more characters should be designed, with multiple different play styles, right? Imagine more characters had 2 play styles for PvE. It would open up a lot of room for creativity and then different builds. And you'd be like, oh, I see you have this build on this character. That means that you're playing them this way. Or, oh, you have this kind of build. I see you're playing the character this other way. So we just kind of screwed up our rotation because we were too far away. Her tracking on her skills is pretty bad. So that's something to keep in mind. Like the tracking of, the range. The range of her 5th skill is really good. The range of her other skills is really bad. She's getting kind of battered by Kang here with different hits, but she's surviving. She's kind of tanky. I gotta give it to her. Maybe it's Valkyrie that's making me tanky. I don't know. but might be dead here. Nope. Didn't do any damage somehow. Oh, because of the cutscene. Okay, that's fair. Let's charge that up. Rip it. It's not bad though. It's not bad. And her fifth skill just looks so sick. This was another reason why I just like tried to make it work, because it's just like you got it with the lightning and stuff. It's weird she doesn't do elemental damage because of all that lightning, but it actually just looks so sick. She has such cool animations, and from a enjoyer of things like Assassin's Creed Odyssey and these other kind of games, you really get the vibes with Athena. You really get those vibes. This is how, honestly, this is how Hercules should have played, with cancelable skills and cool shit. Instead, we got whatever the hell the devs cooked up, man. That garbage. Gonna use the co-op skill there to dodge, but yeah, not a not a great character. Not a pretty clear, not fast, not flashy. Well, pretty flashy, but pretty fun, and I would say pretty unique. That's not bad. Pop the 4 there, and then last rotation here. Rip it. So yeah, 2 minutes left. Double, triple support, mighty energy. It's pretty bad. Listen, it's not meta. I know. I'm not trying to say like, oh guys, you gotta build this character. I just think it's really interesting. I think it's really interesting. I think it's very curious and fun, and this is what gets me excited about the game. And I wouldn't mind at all leaving this on her, kind of like sacrificing the energy just to play around with her every once in a while. Obviously, I wish she was tier 4 so I could take her into the later bosses. That's probably going to be the main reason why I don't play her, is because I want to extract as much value as I can from World Boss. So I want to be playing against Thanos. I want to be playing against the Black Order, whatever. That's probably the biggest mistake that the devs made, is just not giving all of these characters tier 4. It's been almost 3 years. No, it's been more than 3 years. It's been like 3.5 years. You know, we want to be taking these characters to tier 4 so we can play them in all content. That being said, the content that you can play her in, she's not going to be very good for it, but at least she's pretty fun. So yeah, pretty gorgeous looking animations and skills, and then a very quirky play style with either like the spam 4 or just skip the 4 entirely, and you can actually make her proc friendly that way. So I really enjoyed that personally. I know it's not everybody's cup of tea. They just come here for the guides, they come here for the data, they come here for the meta, but sometimes you got to take it slow. You got to, ghost ride the whip, and you got to find the off meta stuff. Anyways, hit me in the comments down below. Let me know what you think. Thank you so much for watching. Smash the like button if you enjoyed the content, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care.